Cinder is live. Welcome to the Manny Cinder podcast. Are you ready for the show? Feel the rhythm move inside you. Let the night ignite your soul. Do not forget to subscribe and like the video. Manny's voice will take control. Manny Cinder is live, live, live. We're dancing through the night. Manny Cinder is live, live, live. Feel the beat, feel alive. Welcome to the Manny Cinder highlights. Do not forget to subscribe and like your video. Manny Cinder is live. Are you ready for the show?
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's podcast. We have the pigeon coming on today. He might be a bit late. He was walking through Epping Forest, and he was troubled by some members of the Taliban, and he was so dissatisfied from the treatment he received that he's gone to go live in India, because he thinks it's far safer to go live in the rape capital of the world, India, than it is to live in the city of London. So he may be a bit late. He's going to be joining us via satellite phone. When he comes on, I'm sure he'll tell you and me and everybody else the story on what happened in that evening when he was walking through Epping Forest, why he was troubled by the men with the beards, and why he chose India of all places to escape to. I would have thought he escaped to India because at least he can pay off the police at the same time as anybody else. India is a very, very corrupt country. Okay, so when Raj does come on, joking aside, when Raj does come on, I want to see if he does want to move to India. Actually, I'm failing to see what he's contributing to society, and unless he comes back on YouTube and SpeakersCon on a full-time basis and start talking some politics, I think there's no point having him around in the country. I think he should be relocated. Not even in Punjab, I would say he should be relocated somewhere far more industrious, like the state of Bihar, which apparently is an absolute hellhole. But of course, he's running late at the moment. He's always running late, but he's got an excuse today. People are joining. Apparently, Raj was walking through Epping Forest and he was troubled by members of what he described as the Taliban. And they wanted to do things to him, and to escape their clutches, he's flown all the way to India, and he's now joining us via satellite. Raj, is that you?
No, it's not me. I'm an imposter. I've been kidnapped. What was that story about me being molested in the park?
I tell you, every time you turn up late on my show, when we're ready to do a show, I shall say some of the most crazy things until you turn up and have to explain yourself. So explain to everybody, why did you fly to India and what did you escape?
I was escaping you because what's happened, I didn't realize that Manny Cinder, who I really respected, I'm going to say respected, has now lost my respect because he is a Candace Owens fanboy, and I had to immigrate. I can't be around someone like yourself who thinks Candace Owens is the voice of reason. I had a, do you know what it is? I have a level of like trust, right? You know, like it's a barometer between 1 and 10. And I'm going to say something. Manny has been on the highest level for how many years? When did I first meet you at Speakers Corner? Because obviously you had my back, you've helped me out, and I've always like Manny, no matter, even if I think you're crazy, I still say Manny's my blah, 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 blah. But a few days ago, that all changed because I found out you think Candace Owens is the voice of reason. So it's come down 5 points.
Did I actually say that? Did I?
Well, that's what you're sounding like. So once I find out anyone's like listening to something like that and taking them seriously, I have to deduct normally 5 points, right? But because it's you, I've only deducted 1. So you're still on a but at some point, if you still continue with this Candace Owens thing, it will start deducting every week a point.
I am far from anyone's fanboy, whether it's Candice or anybody else. I can listen to information all I want. I'm not going to be bullied by you. But some of the things she does say is very interesting, and some of the things that she says are also a bit far fetched. I'll be the first one to admit that. But I tell you what is far fetched: you calling me a Candice Owens fanboy. That's ridiculous.
Oh, you are. Do you know what? Yeah, just for the sake of your reputation, I'm not going to disclose the conversations we had privately.
Go ahead.
No. I don't want to destroy you, innit? I don't want Manny Cinder burnt to a crisp. I need you, innit? So the last thing I need to do,
because I exposed the fact that you got approached by the Taliban in Epic Forest.
Dude, I get approached by the Taliban all the time. They love fat seats, innit? That's their fetish. So that's not out of the norm, innit? But yeah, I'm not even joking, man. I think anyone that really supports Candace Owens, I'm not saying, I'm going to clarify. I am not saying Manny Cinder is in love with Candace Owens, but if it's Valentine's Day, I think Candace Owens might get a little card for the post. With a anonymous sort of like, I love you, Candace. I don't care what Raj says. I will always love you.
Candace Owens is happily married and she has 3 children. I think.
Bring up thingy. Let me hear what Banksy's view on Candace Owens is. I've never really spoken to him about Candace Owens.
I haven't put the link out yet. 1 minute. 1 second.
Jump up, Banksy. Let's hear your views, because do you know what might happen? You might actually gain brownie points in terms of my trust system, and you might even outrank Manny if you told me that Candace. It depends on what you say about her, right?
Banksy couldn't outrank a pigeon in the street.
And do you know what it is here? Look how Manny has attacked me for Candace Owens. Did you see the picture that he's put out of me? The meme.
Oh, this is what it's about.
Hold on. Let me tell everybody. Have you ever seen Manny do such a disgraceful meme about me? It was only when I said your beloved Candace Owens is a liar. The next minute, there's a live out with me or with a pigeon that's slandering me. That's never happened before. So this just shows me that you have some sort of I'm telling you, it's this is why, man. As soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, I get it, innit? I get it. I was like, he's calling me a pigeon. He's got my head in a pigeon. Look at that picture. Have you ever seen him do that to me?
You look good as a pigeon. Come on.
I know, but the point is, you've only done that. We was on the phone call, and I was calling at Candace Owens we was talking for an hour. I called at Tucker Carlson, and then the next minute, literally within 30 seconds of the phone coming down, you send me this picture.
Listen. I have a template for all these images that I use as thumbnails. So all I have to do is drop an image or any text in there. So you might think, oh, that was quick. He had already made it. It actually takes me only 30 seconds to...
No. But the thing is, you'd been planning this for like a week when I sent you the message that I don't trust Candace Owens. I think she's a liar. And
How could I have planned it? Because it was you that said, let's do a live stream on this.
No, what I'm saying, you had everything locked and loaded. As soon as you heard that, all right, Raj, I'm going to have to gun him down. I have to take him out like Charlie Kirk, right? Because we can't have him disgracing Tanny. So we thought we had the little exchange, and I proved to you in exchange that she's a liar, and then you got angry, and then we spoke, and then this come out. What do you? Oh, Banksy's on the channel. Is he? Big up, Banksy. Man, how you doing?
Banksy, how you doing?
Hey, big up, guys. All good.
Yeah. What's your? I don't know what your opinion on Candace Owens is. Have you got kind of like a general overview? I don't trust her. I think she's a lunatic. I'll make it quite clear.
I mean, I've known about and followed Candace Owens' antics since she started back in 2016, 15. I know her since she was called Red Pill Black. I don't know if you guys know about that. She's a grifter. She just chases the most hottest, like, controversial grift at the time. She became she recognized there was a money to be made in this right-wing grift, and now she knows that there's some money to be made in this anti-Israel grift. She's just a grifter looking for the next grift. I don't take her seriously in any way. I've never rated her. But Manny, unfortunately, I think he likes her because her name sounds like candy, and he just wants to eat something.
He likes chocolate. He likes chocolate. That's what it is, though. He likes chocolate. He likes white chocolate. You know, when the inside's pure white and the outside, you're talking about full-on Bounty Bar chocolate. This is why he loves her, because she's out-bountied him.
I mean, straight up, she out-grifted Manny by miles. But the thing is, Manny also believes that he gets cum trails on his face all day long.
I ever grifted on anything? What are you talking about?
He gets showered in cum trails all day long. And then he goes out.
Hold on. Can I ask you something, Manny? Does she believe in chemtrails?
I don't know.
Let me find out the Candace Owens chemtrails, because I think this might be the reason why you're so enamored with her. Do you know what? Yeah, do you know what Banksy said? Is exactly what I said to Manny. She's a grifter. I think she's also crazy as well. So there's an element of absolute madness. Like when it comes to Tucker, we was talking about Tucker Carlson as well. And as I said, that guy's the biggest grifter. Like he will just go wherever the money is. He doesn't care about the actual message. It's just about the money, right? Whereas Candace Owens is a bit of both. Yeah, Piers Morgan as well. Yeah, I agree.
Kind of grifter. Candace Owens. The thing is, Candace Owens follows Tucker Carlson's lead. She's looking at where Tucker is going. She sees that he's onto something. And because the thing is, the right-wing conservatives have been winning now. They are essentially becoming the modern establishment, if you like, order. They've been winning it. I mean, not in Europe. In Europe, we're lefty as crap. But in America, Trump has been winning everything. Republicans are generally winning on everything. And you see, what happens is the culture is shifting. Essentially, the Gen Zs are going to be the next lot of conservatives coming up. But these guys like Candace and Tucker, they make their money not being part of culture, but to be counterculture. And so they are building their brand right now as the next counterculture, which is anti-Israel, anti-Jewish, and generally, pro-Putin and other crap like that. And that's where they're positioning themselves. Eventually, believe it or not, Piers Morgan will join them, because Piers Morgan is the same type of grifter.
Would you agree with me? Because the thing is, I don't throw because I spoke about this with Manny. I said, I don't throw the card around being racist or anti-Semitic freely. Like, you got to really say stuff that, being anti-Israel or anti the war doesn't make you anti-Semitic. I'm against the war. I don't like Netanyahu. But I do believe Candace Owens is anti-Semitic, in my opinion. Some of the stuff she said about the blood libel, that they drink blood and all that is anti-Semitic kind of blood libel tropes, right, that they've been using for a long time. And her husband, when she got married, she was originally an evangelical Christian. She got married to her husband, who's a part of this extreme Catholic sect, which basically is very anti-Semitic. Mel Gibson is part of that group, and his father is as well, right? So I said to him, I believe she is anti-Semitic, and Manny doesn't seem to think she is, though. I mean, what do you think?
You never asked me that, and I never answered that question.
No, I did ask you. I did ask you.
She's so anti-Israeli government that she says that every time she does a
So when she's saying Jews are drinking the blood of Christians, what does that mean?
I don't know. I mean, look, I don't listen to her I haven't been listening to her for years and years. You guys seem to have more of a back history with her. I don't remember her saying anyone drinking blood, so I'm hearing that from you for the first time.
She also made the claim that, the Christian evangelicals, Christians in America, they're actually Jews that came from Europe and infiltrated the American Christian kind of like evangelicals.
Well,
and has she given any proof for that?
No, she doesn't give proof for nothing. They say that she doesn't give proof for anything, including the fact that she said that Emmanuel Macron's wife is a man and she married her dad. He married her dad or something. She's now making claims that Charlie Kirk was, executed by Israeli, French, Arab,
Mossad.
God knows, Mossad, everything has come into Egyptian now. Egyptian planes are now in this. So what I said to Manny is that if Manny speaks to me and I say 10 things right or might be true, but at the same time I make lies like Buckingham Palace and Prince Charles are planning to kidnap me and put me in Buckingham Palace and torture me, then whatever I say after that, you have to question, right? Would you agree with that? Because my lies are so big on certain things.
But the thing is, there's an old trope anyway in the Catholic Church that the Jews have to drink the blood of virgin Catholic boys. This is something that's nothing new about that at all. That's been an old trope. That is the kind of trope that actually pushed someone like the little mustache man from Germany to actually do what he did to the Jews, because these things have been these tropes have been in place for 1,000 years, 2,000 years. The Jews were blamed for the death of Christ. Well, I mean, to be honest, according to the Bible, it's actually correct. But the fact is that the Jews have been demonized by Christians for a best part of 2,000 years. Not to mention, of course, the Muslims who hate their guts anyway.
Sorry, what? Christians demonize Jews and they've been blamed for killing Christ, and then I think you backtracked on that. So, sorry, say that list again.
I agree.
The Catholic Church has had a blood libel upon the Jews for about 2,000 years. They blamed the Jews
Catholic
for the
Church.
death
That's
of
right.
Christ.
Because you said Christian, the Catholic Church. Okay, so
So they removed that after World War II.
The biggest denomination of Christianity, yes, the biggest denomination of Christianity has a blood libel against the Jews, and I'm not supposed to generalize by saying Christians.
So they removed that.
You can generalize all you want, but it doesn't mean that everybody has to agree with you just because you've spoken the word. So we have to clarify and get to the actual precise exact information you're trying to utter. We can't just let you just come on here and start sprouting your nonsense. Go on, Raj.
So basically, they have what is it called when they have the meetings where they change the kind of discuss the laws of the religion in the Vatican? What is it called? The Vatican. What is it called? When they've had it like twice or three times where they make major changes. What is it called? When they had them, I've forgotten what it's called, but someone write in the chat
where canonization.
Not canonization. What they do is like every couple of 100 years, they have these massive meetings. I think it's only happened 3 times. And what they do is that they then change major, or they adjust things, or they leave things, right? But it's a major kind of like congregation of all the Catholics. Council of Nicaea, that's it. Council of Nicaea. So they had another one in the 60s, right? And one of the things they decided to remove was the blood libel for the Jews, right? The main kind of Catholic body. But guess which sect refused to do it? Of the Catholics, it was Candace Owens and Mel Gibson's sect. They don't regard the Council of Nicaea in the 60s or wherever it was. They don't recognize it. So that particular part of it, they still blame the Jews for everything.
So are you, sorry, so just to clarify, Raj, so are you saying that the sect that Candace Owens' husband is a part of may be influencing Candace Owens' kind of appraisal of the Israeli government? Is that what you're saying here?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, everyone. If you look at,
I've not heard that argument before. It's interesting. What's the name of the sect? That is he just Catholic, or is there something within?
No. It's let me just double check. It's part of Mel Gibson's sect. His father's part of it.
Within the Catholic Church, they have their own sectarian sections as well. I mean, Opus Dei is one of the famous ones, but I don't know if that's where what do you call it? Candace Owens or Mel Gibson ascribed.
Well, so let me just read this. Mel Gibson is an adherent of a branch of traditional Catholicism that is not in communion with the modern Roman Catholic Church. This is the same one that Candace Owens supports, or the Vatican. He belongs to a schismatic, ultra-conservative movement that generally rejects the reforms of the Second Vatican Council, 1962 to thingy, right? So they reject anything that was in there, including the removal of blaming the Jews. So in the 60s, they removed that from their thingy. So as soon as she married her husband and she started moving along those circles, she's now become very anti-Israel, anti-Jewish, and in my opinion, anti-Semitic as well, and crazy.
I just want to read two comments out. So Open Your Eyes UK saying Catholics are idol worshippers. They break biblical law and relay tradition. And then Daily Covid is saying Catholicism is closer to Islam than it is to Christianity, in my opinion.
This is the problem with these Christians. They're as bad as the Shiites and the Sunnis. To me, it's just like those who support Mickey Mouse versus the ones who support Donald Duck.
Well, I wouldn't put it like that, but I would say that it's still Christians because they believe in Jesus Christ. They believe in in the Trinity, and they believe in the resurrection and that Jesus died for the sins of mankind.
No,
so they may be deviant to other people, but they're still Christians.
No, Raj, if you listen to what Open Your Eyes said, he essentially called the Catholics heretics. He says they are idol worshippers. If you're an idol worshipper, you're not part of the Abrahamic religion. You're an idol worshipper. You're pagan. So
let me clarify what that means.
Essentially, labeled the Catholics as non-Christians.
That's incorrect. So what he means by that is, as God says in the Bible that you're not supposed to idol worship. So what that means, you're not supposed to start praying like the Hindus do to statues or to create a worshipping around a certain object, right? That's what he means by that. And as we know, Catholics do that to some extent. They do have a statue of the Virgin Mary and so on and so forth. So it's creating energy with an object is what he's referring to. And of course, if that is the case, if God certainly did say that in the Bible and Catholics are doing that, then they are going against the Bible, and that's what he means with that.
I will say one thing. I'm not a kind of like somebody that kind of like judges as that much, right? Like, obviously within Sikhism, we can't have statues either. And I didn't really think much of it, to be honest with you, until I went to a Hindu temple a couple of years ago. And I have to admit, it is very distracting that having statues, because you start looking at them and they look so real, your brain starts to kind of get distracted. So maybe that's what they're trying to say, not necessarily that people are worshipping. They just kind of distract from what you're supposed to be doing in a place of worship.
You think those statues look real?
I'm saying this. You look at them, and because depending on how they're created, they look kind of human-like, right? I'm not saying they're human or they look human fully, but I think they're distracted. This is why I think idol worship or like having statues is kind of frowned upon, because I have to admit it was distracting.
Raj, in a Gurdwara, you guys don't have any images of the gurus? We have
paintings, but not statues.
Yeah, but you have paintings, pictures, I don't know.
Yeah, but Banksy, the difference is whether they're worshipping those paintings or.
Yeah, so I give you an example.
I'm
So I
talking
give.
about the
Let
distraction
Banksy
thing.
finish. Let Banksy finish. Go on.
Yeah.
No, I'm just talking about the distraction thing. If an ornament, a statue distracts you, doesn't a painting distract you?
Not in the same way, and I've thought about this a lot, right? Because the thing is, when I look at a painting, no matter how realistic it is, it's still flat, right? And it doesn't have the same impact. When you're around a statue, there's something about a statue that just resonates in a different way, right? And for me, like I've never, if someone's looking at a painting, I've always said this as well. If someone in a gurdwara is like looking at a painting and praying to it, think it's going to do anything, then you're basically deluded, right? It doesn't do anything. The paintings, in fact, most of the paintings that we'll see, even of Jesus or the gurus, are not really probably what they look like. It's still a reminder for me that of the gurus. You shouldn't be praying to them, right? Because then that is a form of like worshipping, idol worship, right? I mean, this is probably a little bit off thingy, but yeah, let me just see what was it? Because so basically, when it comes to Candace Owens, do you know what Banksy?
Banksy's on mute.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So Candace, so let me read this. Candace Owens has mentioned the topic of chemtrails in her content, primarily when prompted by audience. Was that you, Manny? By questions of as a conspiracy theory. On an episode of a former podcast, a viewer comment, I think it's Manny, prompted her to consider investigating chemtrails and their potential harmful effects, which she acknowledged as a controversial topic to explore. So she has been speaking about chemtrails.
Of course, that's why Manny loves her so much. They get all that cum trail all over their face.
No, but I'm going to go one step further. I think the person that planted that seed was Manny. It says somebody mentioned this and commented, and then she started looking into it. So Manny, he's planting the seed into her head. I think, was that you, Manny, that wrote that?
Somebody wants to plant some seed in somebody, I assure you that.
No, he definitely does. He definitely does. A dirty bugger. Dirty bugger. I've never seen Manny so enraged when questioning someone. He's so upset that originally he was kind of, and don't say you wasn't, Manny. You was indirectly praising Tucker Carlson as well. And I broke Tucker Carlson down like a freaking, he was a house of cards. And then, obviously Manny couldn't defend Tucker Carlson, but he still was defending Candace Owens. But they're the same people.
I didn't defend either of them. You're just trying to create a narrative because obviously you've got a lot of pent-up comments to make against Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Just like I tell everybody on my own Discord channel, it's like I'm completely neutral. I can listen to information whether I agree with it or not. I'm waiting for certain things that Candace has said to see where that goes and what happens. When I've done my own independent research, I'm sure everybody's seen all the video footage of various different things. That whole Charlie Kirk thing is something just does not seem right? Without going into detail, something does not seem right about that. You don't have to have a high IQ to see that something is amiss there. But and she is one of the many people that are covering this information. So if you're interested in that topic, you have to listen to all the leading voices at least, and she is one of the leading voices. After all, she was one of Charlie Kirk's close mates. Now, in regards to Tucker Carlson, we all know that it looks like that he's being paid by the Qataris, and he's now practically one leg in Islam. We know he's such. I mean, after his interview with Piers Morgan, nobody can ever trust Tucker Carlson, even though he's interviewed Tommy Robinson, even though he's tweeted about Tommy Robinson, he's retweeted his Tommy Robinson tweet, and then he had the audacity to barefaced lie to everybody and says, "Who is Tommy Robinson? I don't know him, but he doesn't seem like a genuine person." I mean, fine, if you don't like Tommy Robinson anymore, that's fine. Raj doesn't like Tommy Robinson as much anymore, but he's not going around barefaced lying saying, I don't know Tommy Robinson and so on and so forth. So I get it. But nonetheless, these people still project interesting information that I feel is worth a listen every so often. What you guys want to do is very Islamic in itself. You guys want to say, "Oh God, do you listen to Tucker Tucker Carlson. Oh, Candace Owens. Oh, you must be. It's silly. It's childish, as amusing as it is, and obviously everybody's enjoying the BS that's coming out of both of your mouths. But you're not going to stop me looking into information just because you two have already made your mind up.
No, Manny, I didn't say that.
Now hold on, Raj. Let me just get this in. Manny, you're right. You're right. Because I always, today I was walking down Regent Street and the Strand, and I saw a bunch of crackheads on the street, and I thought, oh, they might have something interesting to say about fiscal policies. Let's find out what they think about the Chancellor's budget, that was recently announced. Because I always listen to everyone, right? I have time to listen to every crackhead that just walks, that comes in front of me, and I need to know their opinion.
Because you're an atheist and because you've fallen for absolutely everything, what you're trying to do
you're immediately losing it because I just crushed your argument.
I never said I listen to every single point. I'm saying if somebody is known to be a good friend of, say, Charlie Kirk, which Candace Owens is, there's enough video evidence and everything else, then you have to really listen to what she has to say about her. What looks like to be one of her best friends. Now we've Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has been numerous times been mentioned by the President of the United States. Now, are you trying to tell me that with that type of contact, with that type of reach, he's even interviewed some of the leading politicians from around the world? I don't like that. I think he's very sinister. But you trying to tell me that there's no way even some of the things that he's going to come out is not going to be worth listening. That's idiotic.
Okay, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an actual historical example of why not everybody is worth my time to listen to. Isaac Newton is literally the father of science. The man invented calculus and discovered gravity, but he also believed in alchemy. He believed he could turn a piece of iron into gold through alchemy. Now, should I listen to Isaac Newton about alchemy? Should I sit there and take notes about Isaac Newton's ideas about alchemy? Or is alchemy just bullshit that I can ignore? I can still accept Isaac Newton as the father of modern science, but I don't have to give a shit about his ideas about alchemy.
This is a bit low IQ, because it's like, that's also saying, so I don't personally agree with communism. I think it's a very demonic force, right? So does that mean I shouldn't study communism because I think it's dark? I think it's evil? Of course not. How am I going to know what the theory is, what the political ambition is, and how it could come about? I mean, I don't play these games where you have to do this, you have to do that. Everybody has their own energy, their own mind. If they want to look into something, that's fine. Fair enough. Some things you spend time doing and occupying your time with is not going to lead you to be fruitful, and it's not going to lead you to be very successful. I accept that, but this kind of thing that you can only do something because it's silly. Go on, Raj. What?
All right, so I never said that everything that Tucker Carlson has said that is wrong. I said to you that there's a lot of things that I agree with him, but the problem with him, I can never trust him fully because I've seen him sway when it comes to money. So now he's all of a sudden pro-Russia, and I'm not against Russia either, but he's so pro-Russia that he's going to the supermarkets, bragging about things that are just nonsensical. Like, oh, you can take your trolley. We've been, putting a little kind of like a little coin in it. Like, we've had that for how many years in the UK? It's not a big deal, in it. And he's going around the bread and all this. Also, when it comes to Tucker Carlson, you've seen how all of a sudden he was very anti-Muslim. Now he's praising Sharia and all these Arab countries because he's getting paid by them, right? And that's why I say I can't take what he says seriously, or I need to double check it. Now, when it comes to Candace Owens, I put her in a different category. I think she's crazy. I think she's gone for the point of maybe having some really good points and stuff like that to now just being a full conspiracy theory nut who, if I said to you, like I said, if I say to you 10 good things, but I'm telling you that the Prince Charles is about to kidnap me and put me in a dungeon and terrorize me or torture me, then I'm sorry, you should be questioning everything I said before that as well. And this is what I'm doing with Candace Owens. Anything she says, I take like it goes in my ear and I'm like, let me just double check it. And a lot of times what she's saying is crazy. And I'm like, look what she's saying. You're talking about, oh, they're friends with Charlie Kirk. If you was truly a friend of Charlie Kirk, you wouldn't be doing shows upon shows insinuating that his wife and the government are behind his assassination.
She's never said. She's never said.
She has implied that.
She hasn't implied it. This is a lot of people keep saying that, and thankfully, I've got a memory, so things I do watch, listen, and read, I do remember. She actually hasn't said that. I assure you. I know a lot of other social media statements have said that that's what she said. She hasn't. In fact, a lot of other social media personalities have said that, whereas she actually hasn't said that at all. She's really saying that other members of Turning Point USA have been acting very strange and have not followed certain protocols. So that's what she's saying, but she hasn't pointed the finger at Erica Kirk at all.
What she's implying? Well, hold on one second.
Nancy wants to address it.
Go on, Banksy.
Oh, okay. Very quickly, the fact is that everybody knows that Candace Owens talks in subtext all the time. What she insinuated was that the Trump government would somehow be involved in Charlie Kirk's quote-unquote assassination, and the sole beneficiary of his assassination is that Erica Kirk would then be put into the forefront of Turning Point USA, and she would essentially be made some sort of CEO. So she would be indirectly involved in this because she would be a direct beneficiary of Charlie's death. That is actually what Steven Crowder insinuated, and that's why Steven Crowder made a video calling Candace Owens a CUNT.
I think Candace did say it was a bit unusual that she became the CEO so quickly after the death. I mean, there could be a number of reasons why that would happen. But however, those of us, and everybody here has on the panel, I mean, I'm sure many people in the chat as well, those of us who have lost loved ones, we know that, you know, things like becoming the CEO of an organization and that type of thing is the very last thing on your mind when you lose a loved one. And I think that's where the gray area is. And I think that's a valid question, but you know, I know of a number of excuses how it would have come about anyway. So I understand Erica's point of view, but I think that's where the confusion is. Candice may have questioned why so quickly did he have to become the CEO.
All right. So the thing is, look, I've had a few people pass away in my family. I'm telling you, people react in different ways. Some people just want to get on with things and distract their minds. Other people are in grief for a long time, and they're still grieving. They're just grieving in a different way. That's what I've realized, that you can't just put this cookie cutter kind of way of saying it. So I'm no fan of Charlie Kirk per se, right? Like, I don't think he was a racist or he said anything that was so outlandish that he deserved the kind of hate he got. But the thing is, sometimes they say, because you're saying that Candace Owens hasn't really said anything that implies that like the wife or the government were behind it. But
no, I said Erica Kirk. She hasn't said that Erica Kirk, his wife, is involved. Yes, but she has implied. I agree that this whole assassination could not have happened without some kind of authority sign off. She's pretty much implied that, from my understanding.
Yeah. So basically, she's saying that because Charlie Kirk was questioning certain things about Israel, that he then was assassinated because of what you wrote in a group chat with a Jewish guy. Now, I'm pretty sure, I'm sorry, that chat was probably being monitored anyway. It was probably the guy that, was in the chat probably told the Israeli government that, he's changing his mind. The last thing the Israeli government would do is to assassinate somebody when they know there's proof out there that that person was thinking about leaving that movement. That is the stupidest thing to do. Now, I said before, like the Occam's razor, I think it's called Occam's razor. Sometimes the most simplest explanation is what it is. I believe, and I said it to you on the phone, that Charlie Kirk has been talking about trans issues and stuff like this a lot, right, for the last couple of years. And he has demonized the trans community up to a point. That individual that did it was just a disgruntled person, mentally ill, and just took a pop shot, because there's guns everywhere, and took him out, right? I don't believe in, and I've listened to the conspiracy theory. I don't think there was a conspiracy. I'm not saying 100%, but there isn't proof. Like, it's not like the JFK assassination where there's loads of kind of like reasons why somebody would have taken him out, right? And we still don't know why. With this one, I think it's pretty clear cut why someone took him out, even though I disagree with it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, it could be something as simple as that. But like I said at the beginning of the conversation, there's a lot of things that don't just line up. And in an ideal situation, you know, I personally would like the answers to those questions. But let's face it, we probably won't have even the remotest idea or come close to the answers required for any of them, because, you know, if it is a conspiracy, it's going to be covered up, and, like, you know, if it's not, then it's going to be something very simple. However, Charlie had already started making movements away from the whole pro-Israel position. He just hadn't officially announced it, and that text message that he sent to Candace saying that was apparently confirmed by TP, you know, his organization Turning Point USA.
No, he said in a group chat with some Jewish people that he was unhappy about a donor withdrawing his consent because of whatever, right? Now, what I'm trying to say to you is that, look, when it comes to Israel and Mossad, they are one of the most kind of like, you know, well, let's just say the most hardened kind of like intelligence services, right? They would have known all this way before. The last thing Mossad would want in this time, or Israel, is somebody who suddenly changed their mind being assassinated, right? Because it's going to be like, you're the one that done it. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's something they wouldn't. Now listen to all the silly conspiracy theories about planes and all of this kind of stuff. That now all of a sudden she's now got an assassination attempt on her by who? Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, who's suing her. Why would the president of France, who is in a legal battle with her, want to assassinate her publicly? Like, what? Just try and make sense of that. Why would they want to even do that?
I agree. It doesn't make sense. I agree.
Yeah, so it's not like the problem. You're the way you're doing it is like this is some little white lie. What I'm saying to you is the lie.
You're being
let me finish
about it.
No, let me finish. Let me finish a second.
Remember when you used to be at Speaker's Corner and you used to try to take the neutral point? You used to get attacked by the Muslims, and you used to get attacked by the atheists or whoever on the opposing side. This is what I'm getting all the time. It's like I'm actually in the middle, so it doesn't. You see, whatever you say, I'm like, yeah, it's possible. It's because I don't really have a strong point either way, but at the same time, I can't ignore certain information that doesn't make sense just because you want me to. It can't work like that.
No, I'm not telling you not to question it. I'm not telling you. Even I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. But all I'm saying to people, if you're taking your information from Candace Owens, then you need to understand. I'm not saying you.
Others.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're doing a show on her. So I think, and you've done shows before, even before I even said anything. So I think you listen to her more than you're saying, and I think you're in bed all night with your headphones on, sleeping to Candace Owens' little voice talking about this, the chemtrails, and Candace Owens.
Do you know what time I go to sleep? Do you know what time I go to sleep?
Candace time.
I go to sleep anywhere between. I mean, 9 o'clock is late for me because I want to be waking up. I want to be fresh, and I want to get on with my stuff. I'm a professional. I need to be on top form. Candace Owens has shows anywhere between 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes she's late and the rest of it. So I could not put up with that. But I do listen to a lot of stuff while I'm working, because majority of my working day is at my desk, and I can, thankfully, I was created in a way that unlike you being a typical bloke, I can multitask. I can do so many things at the same time, and I enjoy listening to podcasts and things like that. So she's one of the podcasts I listen to when she's on. I mean, let's face it, whether you like her or not, it's very entertaining, and just seeing how she conducts podcast alone, is a learning experience, because you then you can cross-reference how other leading podcasts do things and how they conduct it. You know, everything is a learning process, but like also how Banksy was outlining his point, you can't listen to absolutely everything neither, because then that will just clutter your mind also.
Well, you said something important. She's very entertaining. No one says she's not entertaining. She is entertaining. That's why I listen to it. I'm like, okay, I want a good laugh in it. So let me listen to what madness she's coming out with. The problem is this, that when I'm listening to her, I'm like, okay, this is just ridiculous, right? Or sometimes, obviously, there's always an element of truth sometimes. But there are people out there, and I'm not naming any names, Manny, that, you know, are listening to her and actually taking her seriously. They're not seeing it as a joke. They're like, okay, oh my God, Emmanuel Macron, he married his own father. I don't even know. I'm so confused about that story that, you know, it's so confusing that you can't even keep track. And all I'm trying to say is that if somebody is talking absolute madness, like to that degree.
Are you really bothered by that story? I don't know why people are so obsessed with that story. I don't ever mention that story at all. It's completely irrelevant. Not irrelevant, but it's like I'm not too bothered about it.
Let me explain why it's important, because I was one of those people that I would listen to Candace Owens. She used to say a lot of truth, and then when I started hearing this Candace Owens, this Emmanuel Macron one, I started realizing that she's nuts. That particular story proved to me she's not wired right, and then I have to question everything she says. That doesn't mean she's not ever talking the truth. I just now have to say, okay, I'm dealing with somebody that's mentally ill. Now, the way Banksy said, somebody on the street, they may be the best person in the world. They may even be talking truth. But if they're saying to you at the same time that I've got, ants crawling in my blood and I'm being controlled by some lizard people on Mars, maybe that's true, but I'm going to have to start saying this guy's a bit crazy, innit? So even though he's telling me a lot of truth, I need to take whatever he says with a pinch of salt now.
Okay, 1 minute. Let's just have a look at this argument point a different way. So that bullet that supposedly hit Charlie Kirk, do you think that his neck was capable, even if he was above average strength, say he was even twice the strength of any known man, or the strongest man, do you think that his neck could have stopped that bullet? B, you don't know, or C, do you think it would go straight through him?
I don't know enough about ballistics to say, because I just don't know. But it looked like I've seen the.
So whether or not you agree with Candace or any of the other social media people that are looking into this, already there's a grey area within you. So should we start ridiculing you and questioning why you are now questioning Charlie Kirk, even though you're not? So here's another question for you. Why do you not think it's very suspicious that they did not take Charlie Kirk to the closest hospital, which also happens to be the hospital that would have the emergency equipment to have a better chance of saving him?
Look, during like situations like this, panic sets in. Even the most, like the most kind of like prepared people will make mistakes, right? I'm not saying they didn't make mistakes. I'm not saying they haven't made mistakes. What I'm saying, do I think it was nefariously done? That's the difference, right? And the problem is this, right? You can say, okay, this thing looks suspicious. That's fine, innit? But when you're going online insinuating, and I'm going to say Banksy agrees as well, that his wife was somehow behind it, or at least knew something was going to happen. So even if you know something was going to happen, then in reality you allowed it to happen, right? So you're culpable up to a point, right? And then on top of that, the story just gets more outlandish, and then it starts getting to the point that you're now the one that was going to be part of an assassination attempt. Then I have to start asking, like, what?
But do you know why these YouTubers, or sorry, these social media investigators, do you know why they have Erica Kirk in a suspicious kind of box? Do you understand why?
Yeah, because she's not acting like a normal, what you call widow. But the problem I'm trying to say, the reason that is one thing. They're saying that she's the one that probably was going to gain the most in terms of like her now being at the forefront. But what I'm trying to say to you is that having experienced Before I couldn't talk about this because I'd never had no one pass away, and I used to sometimes look at people like, oh my god, their dad just passed away. They're not crying. Oh, the dad passed away. They just gone back to work. And I have to admit, I was like, okay, I didn't understand that, right? I thought, oh, maybe what's wrong? They didn't love their dad or they didn't think. But as I've gone through it twice over a short period of time, I've seen lots of people in my family react in very different ways. And I know they love the people that passed, innit? Yeah, I know they did. They just, sometimes people just want to put their heads down, go back to work and just work. And maybe that's just the way she was, innit? She just wants to put her head down and try and create a legacy for her husband. I'm not even defending her because I don't really like their whole kind of movement, but I'm just saying I think there's a difference between saying somebody's.
So my understanding is this is why the internet does not trust Erica Kirk, and I haven't even bothered to look into this because for me it's a very I find it very weird. But the reason why the American social media investigators, new term I just created there.
Who are you talking about? What accounts?
Do not trust Erica Kirk is, and they've shown. I don't know if the evidence they have shown is actual genuine evidence or they fabricated it, but it seems genuine enough that when she was 15, she apparently established a Romanian orphan charity in Romania, and that charity was then was then labeled by the Romanian authorities as being part of a trafficking operation of minors. That is what these different online investigators, shall we say, are saying about Erica Kirk. So that's kind of where the distrust comes from. But you got to remember that we are not American, so we probably don't know much about. Well, we don't know much about Charlie Kirk in this country, and you know their marriage and stuff. But there is a lot of footage flying around. But like you said, who's got time to go through it all and decipher it and see what's what? But that is where the distrust against Erica Kirk comes from.
Dude, I'm not here to defend Erica Kirk. I'm just saying that I'm not going to take anything Candace Owens says seriously. Yeah, even if she's telling the truth, I'll have to research it 50 million times. The same with Tucker Carlson, right? I will have to research it. All I'm saying, the messenger who's sending these particular things about all this stuff. I'm sorry, she's saying that she's now under an assassination attempt from Emmanuel Macron. Why can I believe anything else she's saying when she's making up gullible stuff? And the reason she's doing it, and you know this to be truth, Manny, is that she knows no matter what she says, how crazy it is, it brings traffic towards her. It also creates a buzz around her, which does what? Creates income. She's doing this sort of money. The same way Tucker Carlson, they're making outlandish claims, and they don't even care about because look, whether you like this Erica Kirk or not, her family must be suffering, right? Going through grief is one of the hardest things to go through, right? And the thing is, imagine the children, imagine them hearing this kind of stuff. They're going to school, oh, your mother, oh, this. Do you understand? Like, she's doing a very, very, this is why I think Stephen Crowder is a nasty individual. But when he said she's a CUNT, I agree. She hasn't even waited, even a couple of days. Like, she's literally gone in for the jugular straight away, right? Making claims and stuff. Wait a little bit, right? If you truly loved someone, you would say, okay, I love that person, I cared for them, meaning I'd want the best for their children and stuff like that. I would wait. This shows she didn't care for them. She only cares about herself, dude.
Fair enough. Banksy's back. Banksy?
Yeah, sorry guys, I had a phone call. The thing is, it's a bit of a weird situation with Candace, because when people say she's doing it for the money, it's her husband is a multi-millionaire, right? I mean, he was already a millionaire when she married him. So it's not like she needs the money directly from what she's earning. I don't know, with her, I think it's just to stay relevant. I think that is what it is. She's a bit of a fame-hungry kind of narcissist. And, I mean, before she was, Candace Owens, when she was Red Tail Black, she was involved in some, I mean, first of all, she was a lefty. Second of all, she was involved in a site which was to dox people who anonymously post things on the internet and they would then gather information on this individual and then eventually dox them on this site. She was involved in a doxing site, which never went anywhere, thank goodness, but that was what she was promoting. You can probably still find some of the promotional videos online. I actually did that. The thing is with Candace, I made a video about Candace Owens in 2016, and
that's why Manny hates you. That's why Manny hates you. He found the video. He must have found it.
Let him finish.
Oh no! This is like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is I made one video with Candace Owens in the title in 2016, saying she's a grifter, and I never changed my position since then, and I've essentially been proven right eventually down the road. It took a few years, but essentially I was right. She's a grifter. She's just grifting for the next thing. And the next thing right now is anti-Israel because, as I said, things are shifting. There's a sea change in the political landscape. And in her eyes, because also, she left the Daily Wire under probably some bad terms. So she's got some gripe against the Daily Wire guys. Obviously, they're, 100%, 200% pro-Israel with what's his name, that squeaky
Ben
guy,
Shapiro,
and all the other guys that are at Daily Wire. So yeah, she just flipped. Essentially, she is the anti-Daily Wire now.
Yeah, but Banksy, you're talking about money. You have to understand, if Emmanuel Macron wins this case, it doesn't matter if you got 150 million pounds, because their family are not billionaires; they're millionaires.
Yeah.
And remember, a lot of stuff are in properties. A lot of stuff are not like available kind of liquid cash that they can get. So I'm telling you, she is shitting herself. She knows that she's going to lose the case because his wife is going to do a test to prove that she's not a man, even though she looks like one. And so what's happening is that she's now trying to gain traction and make as much money and as much kind of noise as possible, because she's going to now say, oh, this family is so dangerous. Not only did they take me to court and bankrupt me, I need the money, they also tried to assassinate me, right? Like, and people are buying it. They're buying it lock, stock and barrel. A lot of people are calling her out, even people that are pro her, apart from Manny. Obviously, Manny's still saying, you got the cheerleaders, the pom-poms out saying, CANDACEOWENS.
You see, you know what I hate more than those who are actual grifters and at least have allegiance and they are grifting with their chest, is those that pretend to be neutral and that are just listening to the information. It's those assholes. It's those assholes who do extremely toxic interviews and they just go, well, I'm just asking questions, but the guy's an asshole.
No, but
asking toxic questions, but nevertheless, I'm just asking questions here. I'm just
Tucker Carlson goes, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. Was it worth the UK fighting Germany? Is it really? Look at UK now. Look at London. Was it really worth it? What does that mean? You know what you're saying. You're basically saying it would have been better that you didn't fight and Nazi Germany took control and we'd be under a suppressive state, but at least everybody's white. That's what you're saying.
Well, yeah, or not only that, he's sort of inadvertently saying, well, maybe Hitler was right about the Jews.
Yeah.
Essentially, in an indirect way, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because he's an anti. Because all these people, by the way, who say they're anti-Israel and Zionist, that's all just a cover. The word Zion, they've just interchanged the word anti-Jew for anti-Zionist. Believe me when I tell you, 99%, it may be the odd one or two, but 99% of people who say they're anti-Zionist, they just hate Jews.
And the thing is, before everyone says I'm pro-Israel, look, I condemn what's going on. Me and you have had like long conversations about what's going on in Gaza and stuff like that. But I do believe that Netanyahu is a war criminal, at least brought to justice. I'm no anti-Semitic person, right? I'm just criticizing Israel as a nation, Israel's government as of today, right? That's different. But these guys don't do it like that. They're doing the Jews, and they just been trying to be smart. They're dog whistling, sometimes just outright saying it. But the thing is, one thing I've realized is that when it comes to Candace Owens, right, she is a grifter for one. But secondly, because she's entertaining, like Manny said, I listen to her on my headphones as I'm hoovering and cleaning and all that kind of stuff. And she's so sweet and cute. Yeah, but what she's talking about is really dangerous. Do you understand? Like, she's not talking about like trivial matters like Hollywood or something silly in it, like a movie. She's talking about world events where people are, being killed and stuff like that. So when she's talking and you're listening to her and you're believing her,
She's reacting. You're trying to pin a tail on her as if she's responsible for creating world events. She's not. She's responding to things. They all are. All these people are responding to things, and that's how they create their audience, because people are looking for opinions. That's how it works. She's not a politician. She's not.
All right, so Manny. Look, to be honest with you, you're my bro, innit? But you need to admit that you're in love with her and that you would die for Candace Owens. Just tell me this. I will die for Candace Owens.
I just can't believe how much I've left you two behind, where you guys are not even able to kind of accept that somebody, in this case me, doesn't have a strong opinion either way. You see, when you've said something that I agree with against these individuals, such as Candace Owens, I've agreed with it, and I said so. But when I've not agreed with it, not agreed with it, whereas both of you, couple of boyfriends holding each other's, you know what? You two are not even able to kind of say, okay, well, of course they do this, and then they.
No, I've said to you, there's something she says is truthful.
Just want to attack Candace Owens. I don't have that level of hatred in my.
There's no hatred. Do you know what? You're conflating something. I have no hatred for Candace Owens. I just recognize somebody that's a fake, somebody that is a liar and mentally ill. So when I know someone's a fake, mentally ill, then what I do is whatever they say, I kind of go, okay, fair enough. And I'll just move on and I'll listen to somebody else, right? You, on the other hand, have brought into the Kool-Aid of Candace Owens. You're drinking it 24 hours a day. You got it in your bloodstream. And you're basically saying, I will die for Candace Owens online all the time.
So basically you're saying either I have to agree with you, with your opinion of Candace Owens, or I'm forever...
No. I'm telling you...
into the desert.
No. I'm telling you, take the photos down of the walls of Candace Owens. Take it from your porn folder. Take them all out. Take the fact that you've got Candace Owens' blood and you drink it. Just stop going under the Kool-Aid of Candace Owens and listen to us and say that what she is saying is crazy.
Hold on. What did I say? My retort to Manny's entire diatribe is, I'm just asking questions.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Clarify that. What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
I thought I clarified it earlier. The people who pretend to be in the middle, who pretend that they don't actually have a side, but they go, I'm just asking questions. Those are the assholes I despise more than the ones who at least say it with their chest. If you're going to grip with your chest and say, yes, I grip for this person. Why do you keep saying, I'm just listening to the information.
One minute,
I don't honestly, you are a pretend-based fence sitter, which makes you worse than the ones who are at least assholes in front of my face.
And Banksy.
Banksy, why do you keep calling me a grifter? What have I grifted for?
No. You're not grifting. You're just a pretend fence sitter. You pretend to be sitting on the fence, but in reality, we all know which side you lean on. But you want to make out as if the grifters are the ones who
Okay, fine. Okay, understood. Now, can you confirm which side I lean on and then provide the evidence for that categorically, which will be undeniable that I am on that side?
Yes. You are on the side of Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson.
Well, no, I
And the
just did
evidence,
I just
and the
did a live
evidence I give
stream.
you
One minute,
at
one
this
minute, one
time,
minute. I just
because
did a live stream criticizing Tucker Carlson, so that's been rejected. Now, give me your
no,
evidence. Give me
no,
your
you're
evidence
on the
about Candace
side
Owens.
of Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, and you
No,
grifted by pretending that you're actually
grifted what?
neutral. By
What I grifted on?
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
you are trying to pretend that you're in the middle by occasionally. So this is the classic Piers Morgan bullshit, where he
So, do
actually is
you
on
have
one side or
evidence
the
or
other,
not?
but he
Do you
occasionally
have
brings on
evidence for
some
these?
prick who
Do you have
criticizes the
evidence for
other
the
side
accusation?
to look like he's neutral. You're
And this
nothing of the
and
sort.
this is why I
You
never
are on the
enjoy
side.
having
You have
Banksy on
been.
here because he's like a woman. He just wants to shout and rave and not
Look,
really
let
back up
me,
anything.
because
I'm
you
asking you,
asked me.
Banksy. You first you said I am pro Tucker Carlson. I said to you, I've just done a live stream of the last day or two criticizing
Yes.
Tucker Carlson heavily,
And I'm
and I even
explaining,
did so. And even did so at the
and I'm
beginning. So
explaining
that
that is
has been 1
bullshit.
minute. Let me finish. That part of your assessment has already been rubbish. Now I'm asking you, you are saying I'm categorically pro Candace Owens. I'm not in the middle, and obviously I'm not completely against her either. So all I'm asking you is just give us the evidence that I am 100% pro Candace.
Well, I mean, if you can show me that 100% fairies don't exist, that will be the same thing. So when you're setting up,
so when you question
why are
these
you
type of
interrupting?
people and
You
they don't
I just
have
waited for
anything to
you,
say,
and yet,
what can you
just
do?
like a woman, you can't stay quiet until I finish my statement. It is amazing how
Go
you
ahead,
call other people like women, and yet, just
give
like
me
a
the
woman, you
information.
interrupt the second I started talking.
Yeah, this is the Manny
Can
Cinder show.
can I
This is
finish?
not the atheist bum pussy
Can
Banksy
I
show. This is the
finish
Manny Cinder show.
what I
If I want to
started?
speak, I will speak. Just like when I'm on your channel, you get to do whatever you want to do.
Oh, now you're pulling. It's my ball.
Go ahead,
It's
give us
my
the evidence,
party, and I
Banksy.
cry if
Give
I
us.
want to. Cry if I want to.
Yeah.
Can I just address
So you're gonna
something
pull the,
quickly?
it's my ball. I'm gonna go home.
All right, so can I just address something?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello, Angel Moon. How you doing, man? I'm not long time now, but it says, Rod, you are totally outing yourself. You don't listen to her, but you know she is wrong. What? No, I listen to her a lot. When I want entertainment, I listen to her, but I listen to it for entertainment.
But you see what Raj want to say. He said both of them know more about Candace than I do. I've only really listened to Candace since she's been talking about Charlie Kirk because I am interested to what happened to Charlie Kirk. But these two have a whole history. I mean, Banksy was coming out with information about her past, that I haven't even come across. And he said he did a video about her 3 years ago, completely irrelevant to me. I have no idea what was been going on, but I'm interested in that information because I shared the screen, as you all seen, when he said she used to be part of Black Pill, Red whatever, and even a quote that was criticizing her. So I've done that. Even Raj, he himself is saying he religiously listens to her, but he wants everybody. 1 minute, but he wants everybody to know what he wants you to know, that he wants a bit of entertainment, and that's why he listens to her. Well, how's that any different to anybody else listening to her? Of course, social media is all about entertainment. It's also to some level about information, some about news, about keeping up to date with a hobby or whatever people use social media for. It's all the same, but because they have a fixed narrative, Raj and Banksy, you either assimilate with their narrative or they're just going to point fingers and put you in the box. It's ridiculous. Literally, these two have had this type of speaker's corner mentality since the day I've met them, and they've not changed.
So I have listened to her for a long time. I mean, she used to do she did an expose on Black Lives Matter and a few things years ago and a few other things she's spoken about. So I've listened to her. I'm not saying everything she's ever done is terrible, everything she's ever done is bad or wrong. I'm just saying the last couple of years, I'll say the last year and a half, 2 years, she has lost the plot. And so she's gone from doing relatively good kind of like investigative journalism to outright what I call kind of shock value, sort of like, trying to just get the clicks and the views. That's all I'm saying. Same with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson used to talk a lot of truth before. Now he's talking shit. I mean, you would agree with that with Tucker Carlson, right?
he's taught. I mean, what he said about Tommy Robinson. I mean, if you've changed your mind about Tommy Robinson, fine. People have done that. But to say all the things that he did, I was like, what is knowing that he's interviewed him in the past and so on and so forth, and it's like nobody with a level head. I mean, nobody should hate on Muslims. No, but nobody in their level head can say what he said about Islam if you're a researcher. If you're in the UK and you're not aware of Muslim grooming gangs targeting, raping and abusing non-Muslim children and girls, then you are purposely avoiding the truth. And that's what he's done. So, yeah, it's completely disgusting. In fact, Tucker must be so corrupt in my book that it's beyond comprehension. And I knew he had become pro-Islamic, recently, but to the level that he exposed himself in that interview with Piers Morgan was on another level. But do you know what? I will still listen to him. I'll still watch him because even though I can't stand him, I still think he has access to information that the normal person, including me, doesn't have.
Yeah, and I'll say the same thing. I'll agree with you on him. Yeah, even though I think he lies a lot and he's a snake and stuff. And just to clarify, when I probably misspoke when I said about Candace Owens, I probably meant to say that if I did say I wouldn't listen, I'll probably meant to say that I don't listen. I listen to her, but I don't take her seriously because I've listened to her. Her videos still pop up. I was still subscribed to her, so I've listened to her for quite a while. Right? It's just the fact that I just think. Some of the stuff she's coming out with is just beyond the power in it for me personally. You can listen to as much as you want, Manny. Go to sleep with it. Have her pictures up on the wall. I won't think any less of you. It's only a point gone down. The one point.
You know why I find this funny? Because I actually do have a podcast that I do listen very intently, and it's a podcast that no one's really heard of. It's by a chap called Adam. He's the owner of a website called Natural News. He's an extremely intelligent individual. In fact, I have his AI software running on my machines that he outsourced free of charge. He's that amazing. Cost him $2 to $3 million to develop, and he's given away for free. And brilliant human being and so intelligent, has information that I don't have. He's clearly, a decent person. God completely, as far as I'm concerned, speaks to him, and I've learned so much from him. So when you're saying about these things about Candace Owens and Tucker, I find it funny because I actually do have a podcast where I just stop and I just listen. And because I learned so much of him. But with Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, even Alex Jones, and all these other people, this is something I do while I'm working. But at the moment, there's so many of these good, partly informative or fully informative podcasts or entertaining that you can't watch all of them. I mean, I used to enjoy listening to Jupiter, but just not enough hours in the day.
Jupiter, where is she? I listen to This Is History a lot. Is it This Is History? Forgotten the name of it. Those two. What's there? Somebody? Yeah, I think it is This Is History. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't. It's not something that I listen to.
Oh, you need to, man. Let me just double check if This Is History. They talk about obviously history, but in a kind of a amusing way. Two of them are quite. Someone write it down in the thingy. There's a host by Danger. No, that's not it. I don't want it to send the wrong way. Yeah. So we've got our little. 76 minutes talking about bloody little old Candace Owens. Now, what was your kind of opinion on Charlie Kirk though? What was your? Because I've not really asked you that.
Look, I think you made some very good points earlier on, even though you kind of disguised it with the joking stuff. I just think it's good people find it very difficult to investigate these things fully fledged and then say things in public because it is a delicate matter, right? They are children and wives and people involved. That you don't want to kind of disrespect. However, and I'm definitely one of those people that doesn't want to disrespect anyone for any unrequired reason. but there are some questions around his murder, his killing, that came with the official story that does not make sense. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, I can list them all, but I'm sure people.
No, I'm talking about him as an individual, like
I
his
didn't, I
message.
didn't, I didn't know much about him at all. I have seen a couple of YouTube videos in the past of him. I didn't know anything about him whatsoever. So I am learning as other people are sharing his information. So I'm
Why can't you put up Angel Moon's message, Raj? I love you. It's Raj. It's great hearing from you.
I
Oh,
did.
you did, right? I didn't see it. It's
I
always
did,
the negative ones.
but obviously she's drinking a lot of wine because she's saying pleasant stuff about you. So that I have.
No. It's, everybody still knows I'm the voice of reason, right? I'm not the person you speak to, and you want a reasonable take on something rather than like your crazy Candace Owen infested mind. No, but the thing is, like the sad thing about Candace Owens, I think in the past she was quite a good journalist in terms of how she would like conduct herself and stuff like that. And I think the last 2 years, this is why I'm kind of like outing her, because I haven't listened to her before and I thought she's been quite good in the past. Now she's just it's a bit like Tucker Carlson. They both strayed drastically.
I think what's happened is even Banksy's made a point that when he was calling them grifter, what he was trying to clarify is that they go independent, and then even if they start off with a certain objective, such as conservatism or Catholicism or whatever it is, it seems to be, and these two. This is what Banky was accusing Tucker and Candace of, is that then they start doing things and saying things for the biggest paycheck rather than what their objective is. Which again, if you look at Tommy Robinson, you've got to take your hat off to him, because no matter what, whether you agree with him or not agree with him, not you personally, but generally, I'm just saying that he's never changed his message. He's been very clear upon that, and whereas these guys who are even better speakers, better presenters, and better debaters, and even the likes of Tommy Robinson, but they seem to kind of switch sides over time. Now, having said that, we also got to give some slack to people changing their minds and changing their views. It doesn't mean that people can't change their mind. I, for one, have changed my mind on many things, and realized that my thought process or my direction was not the right, and I've retreated and turned a corner of that. Everybody makes mistakes, including me, and you kind of become a better person when you acknowledge your point. So whether that is a case of Candace and Tucker or not, I don't know. I doubt it. But you and Banksy seem to have more of an educated historical opinion about Candace than me.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. Like we spoke, like you mentioned, Nick Fuentes, and I think Nick Fuentes, his views are abhorrent, right? But one thing about him that I know for a fact, because I've heard of him and I've seen him for a long time, what he said years ago is still what he's saying today, right? Now he's changed his views about certain things, but I know he's not somebody that can be brought. And those type of people, even if I disagree with you, I can at least have some sort of conversation with you in a respectful way, because I know you're not a flip-flopper for money, right? If you change your mind, it's going to be because you've changed your mind. Like me, I'll change my mind because I believe, from whether I'm right or wrong, you may still say I'm wrong, because I truly believe it, right? Not because somebody's paying me money or I think it's going to get me brownie points and stuff like that. And so the problem I have with those guys is that I believe they are disingenuous on everything now, and everything they do is just to either get clout or for money, right?
Yeah, and that's a fair point. And I think with someone like you, we do have to listen to your view, as annoyingly as it is delivered. We do have to listen to your view because you have a history of getting these things right.
Wow! Someone clip that.
I I don't want to
I'm going to get done. Don't put this on private, man.
ego too much, but you do have a track history of getting these things right and seeing things that other people miss. So your opinion does count. Doesn't mean that your opinion is right, but it definitely does count.
Do you know what's just happened? Your trust level's gone up again.
One more thing.
One thing.
Like you're not as good as Tucker or Candace by any stretch, but you are a good speaker, right? You can communicate your point well, and you can hold a person's attention. And I was aware of that. And this is a long time ago, and this is why I was saying, like, why don't you remember years ago, like, Raj, why don't you consider going into politics? Because I could see that even though you weren't as good looking as me, even though you didn't have the sharp dress sense as me, and you wouldn't get as many votes as me. You were a fair human being, and when you had an objective, that you would pursue that objective, and that's why I suggested going into politics. I'm glad you didn't, because I now think that you should be relocated to India.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be checked out when Manny's. What do you know? What? Yeah, your point system. Just the negative that went from Candace Owens, because obviously it was a point system. And you went down a point because of Candace Owens. It's now gone up again. Well done. That was good. I don't know if it was calculated that you did it like that, but hopefully it was from the heart. Now, when it comes to being a politician, I reckon you would have got me into politics and made me into a Manchurian candidate that was controlled by you. And that basically you just have to say a word, and all of a sudden I implement all of your policies and do whatever I need to do to kind of get rid of someone. So I wouldn't. Problem with politics, right? You have to understand, even the most well-intentioned people will get corrupted by politics. It just happens, isn't it? In my opinion.
But there's a way to get around that. If you just declare that you will guarantee that you would follow up on your election promises, and if you did not, you would open yourself up for prosecution, then everybody around you and you yourself will be forced to deliver on those election promises. So
who's the lady that just done the budget? Angela Rayner, was it? Was it Angela Rayner?
Rachel Rayner.
Rachel. Yeah, so she's basically gone back on an election promise about raising tax, right?
But she didn't guarantee that she would keep her election promises, and that's the thing. This whole parliamentary privilege rubbish is the fallback, the cushion for these corrupt politicians. This is how they are able to become corrupt. If from the start you declare that unless you deliver on your pre-election promises that you will be open for prosecution, and you voluntarily waive your parliamentary privilege, then you will self-preserve your promises and make sure they're delivered.
Yeah, so in this particular case, it would be that she'd be I don't want to say it, but let's just say she'd be prosecuted, right? Because she's made an election pledge, not her particularly, but let's just say the government, and now they've gone backtracked on it. So that's a perfect example of where someone's promised something and they've backtracked. And I agree with you in terms of that. Yeah, you should hold, if you've made an election pledge, unless there's something that, like a war or whatever, that, it's out your control, or something, a natural disaster, that you have to kind of then, put money towards that, then fair enough. Have you blocked Purple Effect, or have I blocked Purple Effect? You can dial Purple Effect. I can't see his messages.
I can see his messages. He's saying LOL Manny, and he said, yeah, Raj is a twat. And he said,
no, hold on. When I said I can't see it in the chat, but I can see on your screen, which is a good way to do it, because now I can see on the screen. No, but yeah, but the thing is that, the politicians, unfortunately, I haven't voted in 4 years. I wish I could vote. I don't think there's any party that I trust or think deserves my vote at the moment for the last 20 years. Who did you vote for last time then? Or did you not vote?
I haven't voted for a while because none of these corrupt individuals and corrupt parties, and democracy, I think, is broken beyond repair. The only way I think democracy can ever be saved is the 3-point plan that that I've mentioned before. 2 points I just mentioned now about removing parliamentary privilege and declaring that you will deliver the pre-election promises. Unless something like that can be done and forced through, democracy is over, because it doesn't matter who even the most sincere person gets voted in, they do a complete U-turn. Even Donald Trump, the leader of the Western world, the leader of the democratic world, the leader of the Christian world, all the labels you want to put on him, he had the biggest support of any president ever, and he's done U-turns.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they're saying he's a lame duck president. He can't really do anything, and now he's screwed. He's screwed, but he's also screwed by his situation with what's his name, the Epstein file. That's kind of like ruined his whole kind of like his whole reputation, and no one trusts him now because he's gone and betrayed everybody on that. So it's the same thing with like I said with Candace. If you lie about something so big, then what else would you lie about? Do you understand? You're lying about something humongous. That all of a sudden there's no files, there's no this. Then how can you trust them on the small things?
What I find deeply upsetting is that people, even the leading spokespeople, they're still so kind of bothered and motivated by saying vote for Ben Habib or vote for UKIP or vote for Labour or the new Tories, whatever. Whereas nobody is even bothered. I seem to be the only person that's bothered of creating a method like saying, forget about which corrupt politicians to vote. How about we concentrate on making sure democracy, i.e., what we vote for is actually delivered. Because at the moment, it doesn't matter who you vote for. You could vote for anybody, and precisely the opposite of what you vote for is going to happen. But even people like Richard Inman, who I'm sure you admit is a very intelligent person, know far more about politics than the average person, and he's making videos saying vote for Ben Habib. But what guarantee do we have that Ben Habib or anybody else is going to deliver anything? How do we know that they will not do a U-turn like every other politician? And this is why it's kind of upsetting, but not really, because I see where it goes and I can see it's kind of pre-written anyway. It's like, how about we just stop trying to influence each other and say, this is who you should vote for. And let's just say, we're going to kind of fix democracy and make sure that what we do vote for is delivered. And like I said, that 3-point plan that I keep talking about, that people or politicians need to declare that they will be open for prosecution if they don't deliver on their pre-election promises, and that they're also asked to remove their parliamentary privilege and, also stop this whole donations coming through from influencing what politicians do and say and how they vote. Either stop that completely, or we need to make it public so that either the public can vote for, or we all know who's influencing and giving brown paper bags to whom. If these 3 things are done, then we're back on course, and we might even, save the country and even save the world. But unless that's done, every single election, we seem to be taking a running jump straight down to hell.
Yeah, before, because obviously I need to leave at 10 o'clock, but do you want to touch upon what you spoke to my old good friend Triller about yesterday?
So I was reviewing a video of a racist called Steve Laws, who is an ethno-nationalist, which is a kind of cuddly term for Nazi, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. And I think he clearly proved that in his interview with Liam Tough. So, I mean, I kind of lost a little bit of respect with Liam Tough because, he has a big podcast and he's a great interviewer and he seems like a smashing guy. I don't remember meeting him before, but maybe I have, but it doesn't matter. But he should know 2 things: that you platform these highly racist, highly dangerous people, right? All you're doing is sending your support over to them, because whether you say it publicly or not, unconsciously people are saying, oh, this guy should be okay, let me go check what he stands for and join his movement, join his social media. Secondly, Liam Tuff is good mates with Tommy Robinson, and we all now know that it was exposed that the ethno-nationalists had a strategy of grooming Tommy Robinson supporters over to their racist camp, right? So he rolled out the carpet for this whole process to start again, and I'm thinking, what? How can that be a sensible thing to do? How can that be something that Tommy Robinson or his team did not tell Liam that this would happen? You understand that, right? That this has been from the time of Ralph Masselmani, whatever his name of, that the ethno-nationalists, this is how they expand their movement. They target Tommy Robinson supporters and switch them into a racist mindset.
Yeah, I mean, I've not heard. I've listened to it, to be honest. I only listened to a bit of your stream yesterday because I thought, let me just see what was going on, and I heard a bit there about Triller jumping on and disagreeing with you on certain things.
Triller, so sorry to answer you. I went and offered a rant there. So Triller came on, and Triller started. He didn't agree with me when I said, well, obviously, compared to his ancestral culture and political methodology in Punjab compared to what we have here in the UK methodology of living life, politics, culture is superior. And the evidence of that, the very basic evidence of that is ancestors such as majority of Indians that leave India to find a better place to live and work and prosper, find that in a country like the UK or any other European or other Christian country in North America, and are able to create a middle-class lifestyle for themselves. So just on that basis, isn't that evidence enough that the current culture in the UK is superior than that in India?
I mean, the problem with this is that I don't think that's even an argument to have, because the reason why people are moving to the West is because they believe that the West has a better system of governance, right? In terms of democracy, in terms of separating church from state, in terms of the standard of living, right? So that doesn't mean I'm bashing my own kind of heritage from Punjab, right? But there are things within the Indian subcontinent that are not working, hence why living standards is not really a middle class, right? Like you have here, you have very poor and very rich. And obviously that's going to grow over time, hopefully the middle class, that you have this kind of middle ground. And I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be coming here. And that's not me bashing the Punjab or anything, because at the end of the day, I'm from the UK, right? It's just me, I can see with my own eyes that certain systems work better, right? Mm-hmm. You can just see it, right? So saying that, I don't see what is so controversial. Otherwise, no one would want to come here. They want to go to let's just try and think of a country that I don't call racist. What can I think of? What country? Yeah, otherwise everyone would be going to Bangladesh.
But I find that such a bizarre position that people like what's his name again? The guy that we're talking about.
Who?
Triller. So I find it bizarre that people like Triller have this opinion. That I can even speak to my mother and tell her, look at what you left behind, and how you've been able to prosper. It's this country, it's the politics of this nation and the hospitality of this nation that's allowed you and many others to create the fantastic life that you have. So, naturally you should be pro-Britain or pro-UK. I mean, I agree, there is no argument. Even though I presented that as an argument to Triller, I was really inviting him to say, yes, I agree. But he was like, no, it's not. India this and India that. And it was just so bizarre. But I think he loves an argument. I think he may not even kind of disagree with my hypothesis. I think he just loves an argument, and he was just getting online just to vent and kind of create some excitement on.
Because the thing is, I've never heard, very few people, even the most anti-British people, still would concede, okay, the system of the UK is a place where you can earn money and make money or live a particular standard of life. I don't think anyone would disagree with that, right? Maybe it was he just wanted a little bit of a kind of an argument about it, but that doesn't mean that like, I condemn the British Empire, what they did here, what they did there. Okay, fair enough, but I can still concede that the system that they've got today is the best system that we have at the moment, right? But obviously there are some downsides. Let's think of the downsides. I think traditional values is one of the things that has been kind of like.
Atheism is destroying that. It's just that somebody on my Discord server said something fantastic yesterday. He said nationalism without God is a very dark thing, and that's exactly right. Because as we're seeing with the racist ethnonats, they are nationalists, but they're putting in race in there, and atheists are also creating this weird aura about things, and we're going away from what you're saying is traditionalism, and it's creating a very disruptive, disorganized, and demonic society.
Well, how do you look if you don't have a traditional system for a country? Your birth rates are going to plummet. You're going to have what I call kind of like the morality of the nation is going to be through the ground. And all that's going to do is destroy your society, right? So we're not talking about traditional values. I'm not talking about oppressing anyone. Oh, gays have to do, this and that. I'm just saying that the basis of a country, like the foundation stone, without that, it's going to crumble in it, because people are going to stop having kids, stop getting married, stop having kids out of wedlock, not having a father in the house. Everyone's going to turn gay.
It's happening.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's the downside of the West, right? It has its plus side in terms of freedom of religion, freedom of this, freedom of speech, in terms of standards of living and all of this kind of stuff. But the downside is it's lost its what you call a traditional kind of value system, which is going to do what? You're not going to have a society that is going to grow, so they're going to start importing people from other places.
Right. So society has moved away from Christianity and either moved towards other religions such as Islam, or moved away or moved towards atheism, which is a religion in itself. So it's the fact that it's moving away from Christianity that is the problem, right? And that's where we know that's what we need to fix, and what will solve all the issues that the country is having.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to go back to Speaker's Corner anyway, and I was supposed to go today, couldn't go.
Are you going back full time?
No, just once in a while, because with the other seat guys, I'm going to have a part 2 with Bob, and I've been communicating with Soko.
Are they your new friends?
I've always been cool with Bob and them lot. Like, we can disagree on our theology, but I treat people how they treat me, right? And Bob has always been respectful to me. The Christians there have always been respectful to me. We can disagree on, like fundamental things, like, how we see the world and stuff. But there's no issue between me or Sikhs and Christians and stuff. But the point I want to kind of like speak, because obviously when I went there, I didn't have enough time to talk. Because there were other big mouths there that would talk more than me, like Bobby, innit? And so basically, I want to just elaborate on what I was saying about, because some people got upset and they said, Raj, you're telling everyone to become Christian. No, I didn't say everyone become Christian. I didn't say that. I said that obviously as a Sikh, I would want people to become Sikh, but this is a Christian land. It's been Christian for 1400 years. So I understand that, right? The foundation of this nation is built upon Christianity and Judeo-Christian kind of like fundamentals, right?
Do you really think that everybody could walk around wearing turbans in the UK? Do you think that's ever going to happen?
It's not. Anything can happen, dude. Anything can happen.
Do you really think it's going to happen? Do you think that all of a sudden there's any way possible that the entire male population of the UK will don a turban and become Sikh?
Yeah, but your understanding of Sikhi, and I'm not. This is just me being truthful with you, is very minimalistic. I'm being honest with you. This is just me being truthful to you. I don't think you understand the kind of the fundamentals. Like, there's lots of Sikhs out there that may not be what I call baptized Amrit Shak Gursikhs, but they're still Sikhs, right? So,
you see cultural Sikhs.
No, they're not, dude, man. They're not cultural Sikhs. The fundamentals of Sikhi is not just the turban and the beard. You're looking at it through a very kind of what's called simplistic viewpoint.
That's the end point, but that's what you should do to become
That's
a good Sikh.
that's the end point. But there's middle points. Like you said, there's an end point. It's like a Christian saying you have to do everything, otherwise you're not a Christian. There are points, and I've met some of the best Sikhs I've met, and this can sound quite controversial. Don't wear turbans and haven't got a beard. Right, and I've seen them in the Gurdwara. I've seen them doing things the way they live their lives. They're living their lives as a Sikh should live their life. They're just not wearing the uniform that they should be wearing, right? But that doesn't mean they're no longer a Sikh. You have to. It's a bit like a Christian. Like you have to believe in certain things in order to become a Christian, but you may still not follow everything. It's the same with a Sikh, isn't it?
But my question to you was: do you really think that the British population will ever become Sikh? It's not.
I will say. I would say, Raj Relocated. Yes, it will happen. It could happen. So I'm saying anything could happen. It doesn't. This thing about nothing could happen.
Do you think it could happen? A lot of things could happen. I'm asking you, do you think it's going to happen?
Not in the UK, because the UK is a Christian nation. But could it happen? Yeah, anything could happen. But I'm not here as a Sikh wanting to convert Christians into Sikhi, right? If somebody comes to Sikhi, that's fine, innit? But we're not out here evangelizing, telling the nation to come to Sikhi. What I'm saying to people is to come to traditional values. Traditional values is paramount.
Do you think all religions is a route to God?
Not all, but I do believe religions do have a path to God, a lot of them. And
which religions do you think are a genuine route to God?
Oh, dude, let's do this next time. This is going to go left in it, and it'll take ages. We'll try and discuss this next time. It's going to go like left, and then you're going to start talking about certain things. Then it's going to go that way. I have to leave in 15 minutes. This is like a 10,000-hour conversation, right? And yeah, it'll go. But my point is, it's like, yeah, I mean, the church is closing and stuff. It's like sad, isn't it? Like when I said that, and the churches should be full. Like, I'm not saying that in the sense that, I want everyone to just go to church. And I'm just saying, if you don't go to a church...
The churches are closing, but people are becoming Christian in their troves, right? Like the Christian population, that genuine people that are believing in Christianity, that is growing. It's the churches, because people, like I said years ago when we first started on YouTube, is the British population realized that some of the most hideous crimes were happening in Catholic churches and Church of England churches, and people have not forgotten that, and they're not going to go back to that. That's the thing. So because those churches are empty, people are thinking, oh, people are turning their back on it. It's not. There's a mass movement, awakening, a Christian awakening happening right now.
But that's because of the growing growing Islam, right? I think it's a reaction, right? And whether that's good or bad, whatever, right? But I've seen it myself, right? When I went to Speaker's Corner last time, Bob was walking in with like 15 guys going, Christ is King. And he was walking in, right? I was like, what? And he walked right past me. He didn't even look at me. He was just like in a trance, right? I was like, this was something that I'd never see at Speaker's Corner before, right? You'd normally see Muslims doing similar things like that, like, shouting chants and stuff. So, with him, he said to me, and I said it in the video, I remember, there's a lot of conversations I had with people off camera. And I remember Bob saying to me, because he was talking about, I said, look, I think Christianity has become a bit weak, right? He said, look, I want to masculinize Christianity. And I want it to go, and I said, look, yeah, we believe in a concept with son, supplier, Sikhs, right? Saint, soldier. You need both, innit? You can't just be a saint and you can't just be a soldier. And I remember him saying, yeah, that's what we want to do. And he did it, if I'm being honest. In Speaker's Corner, he's done it. Whether he's done it nationwide, he's definitely done it in Speaker's Corner, in my opinion.
We've got DC on the panel. Hi, DC.
Who's DC?
Good afternoon, Raj the artist, Manny Cinder, audience, ladies, gents, and Pikachu.
Hello. Hey, Dan.
Raj, I've spoken to you before. It was quite a while ago now. I remember you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I used to be a regular at Speaker's Corner. I went back recently, and I was just talking to Manny about, are you Christian yourself? I can see are you mocking me there with the big-nosed, beaked, pigeon-looking character? Is that supposed
No, don't overestimate your importance to my avatar.
Thank God for that. Thank God for that. For a second, I thought you was...
Your nose can't be that big, surely.
Dude, I'm talking to my camera, and every time I'm like talking, it's poking the screen. So Yeah,
So
it
why
is
do you
big.
want to kill Candace then?
What's that?
Why do you want to assassinate Candace then, you evil Jew? Tell me about it.
Because of the blood libel they're saying about my people. He's saying
Oh,
that we're
that's fair
drinking the
enough.
blood of children. So yeah, no, I don't know. When it comes here, look what he's done to me here.
Sorry, mate, I couldn't resist.
Yeah, but but I mean, with Candace Owens, I just there you
For
go.
the record, I actually 100% agreed with your position on Candace. I thought it was very well discussed and analysed.
Oh, look at
And I
this!
also
Listen to that,
understood-
Manny.
I also understood when you said-
I know
Sorry.
DC's view on Candice. He hates her more than you do.
There's no. The problem is, Manny, you're using the word hate, and there's no hate towards Candace. I don't hate her.
Yeah,
I don't hate.
I shouldn't
I
have used
don't.
that word. You
No, no.
dislike.
So no, not even dislike. I don't hate or dislike people that are mentally ill. Right? It's not their fault. They're mentally ill, and you need to understand when somebody's mentally ill, right? And then you can't hate that person. You can just feel sadness for them and pity, and that's it. That's what I feel for her.
So you think Candace is mentally ill? I just think she's a skilled opportunist. I don't think she's like primeval. I don't think she's mental. I just think she's a little bit ambitious and a little bit greedy and not a lot else. You know, there's not really much to her outside of that.
Yeah, I think she's becoming mentally ill over the last year or so. I think the pressure of everything coming on top of her is. When I say mentally ill, let me clarify. I'm not saying she's totally batshit crazy in that sense, but I think her kind of paranoia is coming through, and that is can be part of a mental illness where you think people are out to get you when they're not, right? Like, do you understand? Like, you can start becoming paranoid. Now she's got this concocted kind of like assassination attempt on her life. That just is nonsensical.
Do you think she genuinely believes all that stuff herself, or do you think perhaps she wants you and I to believe it because it sells, products and it gets clicks? But in her head, she knows what a ridiculous nonsense. Anyone who believes that must be an idiot. She must be thinking that in her head. She must know.
I don't know. I mean, I've read
Sorry.
Yeah, sometimes I think she knows. And then sometimes I listen to her, I think she truly believes it. So I really don't know. I'm just saying that I don't take anything she says seriously. It doesn't mean she's not telling truth. It just means whatever she says, I need to hear someone else's opinion on it, or 3 or 4 opinions before I make a decision. I'm not going to listen to her like Manny does. And as soon as she says it, he's got it on a placard somewhere, walking around his little village. Candace Owens going to be assassinated. I will take the bullet for her.
Raj, I've got to say, I think it's the other way. I think if we knew the facts, right? If we all knew the truth about Candace Owen, here is the truth. Candace Owen has a picture of Manny Cinder on her bathroom mirror. She sees it every day. No one will ever know, but I honestly believe that Manny Cinder, your picture is on Candace Owen's bathroom mirror with a lipstick kiss on the face.
Do you know Manny is in the ecstasy? He's about to orgasm now. He must be so excited. You saying that to Manny is like his biggest dream. Could you imagine that? Manny, imagine that. Candace Owens got a picture of you and you got a picture of her.
Look, dude, she's a married lady and I'm a married man. You disrespecting both of us with this.
No, but we're talking about a spiritual affair, a spiritual kind of love.
No, not
You're doing it through kind of some kind of conduit. I don't know who the conduit is though. It could be anything, right? No, but the thing is with Manny is like I said, I've never heard his opinions on Candace until recently, so it's come as a bit of a shock, right? It's like someone telling you they're a flat earther and you've known them for 30 years, and you're like, what? Where did that come from? Do you understand? So it's not necessarily.
But what happened? I don't know where you got this from. So you went on the attack on Candace. I said, what about this? What about that? And then you've concluded that I must be pro Candace.
Do you know what I need to do for historical kind of accuracy? Later, I need to look through all our WhatsApp messages, how it happened, what the trigger was. But I do remember you saying about Tucker Carlson that both Tucker Carlson and Candace Owen are basically smashing it.
Yeah,
and that kind of
both of them have 2 of the best for podcasts. That's what I was saying, that these guys, how they're going on conducting their business, i.e. presentation, is because I've been researching how these guys do it, right? So that's why I'm aware of them. I kept tallies on what their process is and how they do it. But this might be something new to you, but I've been sharing this to people on my Discord. I even called a meeting saying, look, I've gathered enough information. I know what their formula is to create a show and how and why they're smashing it. And there's a good opportunity here for good people to kind of make a statement if we kind of use the same formula but pursue a message that is worth pursuing, i.e. getting people on the right track. So this is where all this comes. I was telling you that these guys do a good show, and you yourself admit that you listen to them and they are entertaining.
All right, so let me just clarify. You are looking at Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and Alex Jones because they get numbers. You think that this might be something that you want to replicate, meaning you want to be the new brown Alex Jones or something, and create some batshit crazy kind of show where all you're doing is basically telling like 10% truth with 90% bullshit. And do you think that's a good way to move forwards?
Let me put it in basic terms. The first time I made 10 grand in trading the markets was a formula that I developed, was a strategy that I developed. Now, obviously, if you were to expand that 10,000 into 100,000 pounds, how would you go about? You would use the same strategy, or you certainly build on the same strategy, right? So what I suggested to the people I had a meeting with, that these people are smashing it in terms of numbers on social media by using this formula, which there's two ways of doing pretty much the same thing, but it's the same thing. This is the formula. And if we were to kind of use the same formula, but not do any of this politics, but send out a good message to the people, we can do that. So that's what the conversation was. I never said that I would be the person that do that. If I wanted to do that, I already have the research. I already have the strategy. I would be conducting this show exactly the same way to get the numbers. Or
Manny, the formula is full of poop. And you're saying what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying. So let me explain something. The reason why they're the biggest podcast, the reason why they got so much traction and so much kind of airtime, is because they are saying things that are batshit crazy, and so people are listening. So in order for you to get the same formula and to replicate what you have to do, you have to have that massive 95% of batshit craziness in the formula.
No, I'm not saying that. I never said you. Again, you're just trying to put me in a box, like that whole atheist Islamic situation. You want to put me in a box so you can. Listen to what I said. There's a strategy in how they conduct their shows. I never said replicate the things that they say or the topics they cover. There's just a strategy in all these shows how to make a show. There's a lot of other shows and a lot of other channels that use pretty much the same strategy, but they're not as famous, or they're not as they don't get the same 100,000 people watching or listening to them, but they're still very, very effective. The key that I was sharing with everybody in the meeting was, I know what this strategy is. Got nothing to do with the topic of discussion. You could be discussing fat, smelly Sikhs from East London.
Thank you.
Or you could be discussing, Scottish skirt wearing or kilt wearing men from the Highland. The topic doesn't matter. There's a formula on how you present and conduct the shows that becomes very entertaining.
Okay, let's see if it works without the controversy, the madness, and outright conspiracy theories.
I'm not. I don't think it's. I didn't really feel that there was a lot of bite from everybody in the meeting, so I don't think we're going to go forward with. But if anybody does want to know how to conduct this stuff, I might sell you the research.
Dude, all you have to do is come on live and say something like the fishes are turning us gay. No, you can't use Frog because he's already done that. Say it's the fishes. Talk about that you're under some sort of assassination attempt by MBS from Saudi Arabia because you're the greatest ever Islamophobe and they want to take you out. Say something about, I don't know, that you believe that Charlie Kirk isn't dead, but he's alive. And you'd have the greatest show ever. Everyone listening to you.
So that chemical is called atrazine, and that is an official scientific test, and it did turn the frogs grey. I just want the audience to know
grey or gay?
Gay. So they did turn the frogs grey, and it is in tap water, and that's probably why you walk the way you do, Raj, because you drink.
yeah, that makes sense now. But that day, it could make sense why I have turned gay. But why would it make everyone else gay towards me? Because I get a lot of men chasing me about and stuff. So how does that work? Have they all drank the Kool-Aid as well?
Well, I think you all drink from tap water, so yeah, possibly.
I think you drank the Candace Owens Kool-Aid. I still have to say that.
you stayed on that. Anyway, let's hear from DC before we close the show. It's going to be
go on.
He's jumped on. Let him have his stay, and we'll respond. DC, what do you want to add to the show, mate?
Well, since we're on the subject of Candace Owens, I feel like we need to think back to what was the last thing she did that she was known for. It was her slot on the Daily Wire. And her nearest and dearest was Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro. Who else was on there? You know, that other guy, Dave Rubin, all those kind of guys.
Matt Walsh as well, Matt Walsh.
Yeah, all those kind of guys. And she was like highly paid to be on there. And I just remember the day before she left, she did this scathing criticism of Daily Wire because they were taking money from people who they would then go on to criticize. And I remember Ben Shapiro responding to her on Twitter and saying, well, it's all fine and well saying things like that, Candace, but you're quite welcome to give back your last month's paycheck to Daily Wire and then go and find yourself a new job. And she didn't even respond. She just left the next day. So it's like, this is we're talking about trends or processes, that you can use again and again. I think if that continues to happen, which it has done, then maybe that's the trend of Candace. So it's not about whether she's journalistically dignified or honest, or it's not whether she's entertaining. It's in the long haul. If you are her diehard fan for years and years and years, how many false dawns is she going to sell you? Because I don't remember her actually getting one right in her whole history. And she's had to leave every single job because of it.
What do you think about the assassination attempt, that allegation she's made, that Macron, who's doing a lawsuit against her, defamation one, is also about to assassinate her? What do you think about that?
Oh, I did a video on it. I said it's absolutely crazy that anyone gives that any credence. Because the way that she wrote it, I analysed it word by word, the little post she made. She said, urgent. 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking member of the French government. Now, think about that as a sentence. The first word, urgent. So it's like, stop what you're doing. This is important to you. You need to know this. Urgent. See, she got your attention. Then, 2 days ago. It's like, hang on, is it urgent or was it urgent 2 days ago? And then you just waited 48 hours to tell us that you're going to be murdered. So straight away in line 1, she made 2 errors. Then she goes down the page. And bearing in mind, in the first 2 lines, she's saying, I don't know who this French guy is. He rang me and I had to double check that he was a French dignitary from the high-ranking, liaison of the French government. Then I had to check that his information was right. I have deemed it to be accurate enough to tell you in the event that something happens. That was her statement. And then it's like, hang on a minute. At the beginning, you were saying you didn't know this guy and the only reason you trust him because you checked on him and made this threat. By the end, you're saying, no, he's totally trustworthy. He's completely legit. And it's everyone else who's not trustworthy, including your own government.
Do you know what, Manny? I can stay in for another 10 minutes to listen to this. I was going to go, but let's carry on because I know it hurts. I know it hurts, Manny. I know it hurts you when you're talking. So what else?
I want to add something to that. It just reminded me. But when DC's finished, I want to add something that I heard, and I think a lot of people missed about Candace Owens that sides with DC's opinion of her.
Okay.
Yeah, and then in her little commentary, her last final closing statement was, thank you to the brave French liaison officer who rang me up and gave me this warning. And I know he did it because XYZ. And I was thinking, You said you didn't know this guy. He rang you up out of the blue, a random French dignitary you never met, somehow knows you, identified that it was really you by saying, give me your first line of address or whatever. So you knew it was you, and you knew it was him. Then the last line, you're making out like you're a family friend of this guy. Like you know him so well, you can physically accurately guess his motivations for doing a thing that he did on the spur of the moment. And you even said yourself, he rang you out of the blue. It's just like, what, you're a flipping mind reader or something?
What's the latest though? Didn't she say that the Egyptians are involved now? I can't keep up.
Egyptian planes, yeah.
I mean, what was that? Because I didn't read that. But what's she saying about the planes then?
The reason I think she's saying that is because Egypt are in negotiations with Israel at the moment to figure out who is going to be in control of the Gaza Strip when it's at peace, right? Because Israel don't want it to be Egypt. Egypt don't want it to be Israel. So the UN has to decide. So that's the only reason she's piping up about that. She's sticking the knife in secretly to say evil Jews because Egypt. You know, she's making out like, oh, the Egypt planes are somehow endangered by these evil hook-nosed, rabid Jews that she hates so much.
So do you agree with me that I believe her to be anti-Semitic? And like I said before, I'm not somebody that just tucks that around willy-nilly. I'm against the Gaza, what's happening in Gaza. I think Netanyahu is a lunatic, needs to be arrested. But I do believe she's crossed the line of being anti-Semitic. Manny saying he's not heard of stuff. I've heard of stuff that is 100% implying that the Jews are like doing certain nefarious things like drinking blood or infiltrating the churches and made this and that.
Her and Tucker are just as bad as each other. As soon as they get a whiff of Dawa, Islamic scripted propaganda, they immediately share and like and follow and tell everyone. But rather than say, I got this from a gossip Twitter post or I found it on Reddit last night when I was eating pizza, she puts it forward as if it's like confirmed everybody believes in it news. And then, like you just said there, the thing she comes out with ridiculous. Oh, yeah, Jews like drinking blood and they're secretly from an alien race. I've heard her say so many dumb things that she goes back on. The only reason I know her name, in 2021, I did a post on YouTube, actually, right at the bottom of my community feed. And I did an artist impression of what I think she really looks like. And it was like basically a brown stick insect with a big gob on it. The reason I did that is because I was taking the piss out of her for her entire statement. She did a 40-minute statement on the war in Israel, like before it kicked off after October 7th. And the whole thing was they had it coming. She doesn't care about the victims. They actually deserved it for some historical thing. And that basically Palestine should own Israel. Jews should get fucked. And I just laughed in her face and was like, how does anyone give any credence to a journalist, quote unquote journalist, who says things like that? And then when picked up on it later, says, oh, I didn't mean that. I meant this. It's like, have some conviction.
Yeah, she said a lot of stuff about World War II as well. Like, oh, the Germans were, the Christian Germans were basically, what's it called? Like genocided. Like, no. They were not genocided. They started the war, which then obviously there were war crimes that occurred afterwards. But when there's bombing and stuff like that, when people die in those raids and stuff, it's not genociding, like when you're rounding up Jews or Poles or Slavs and stuff and putting them in concentration camps and terminating them, right? So her kind of like, narrative is like very, very nasty.
Well, sorry, before I forget, so do you know, so she's Candace Owens has not been online for a week because she's saying that her life is under threat, so on and so forth. But what was interesting, what I picked up, what I think I'm the only one that picked up, and I haven't been back to her channel to verify this, if it's still on there, because you can dub things out. So the very last show that she did, right at the end, when she's saying, goodbye, see you on Monday, and as her mic was being faded off, she said, oh no, wait, no, not on Monday. Almost as if like she had remembered that she wasn't going, that she had something booked or she had something to do next week. And then as DC is saying, then she did a tweet saying, oh, I was contacted last week and blah, 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 not mentioning it in that show. So just to fit that argument, I did have a question mark of how that came about and why she was so normal on that very last show that she did do.
Can you just confirm to me? I'll stay for another few minutes. Can you just confirm to me that you will sacrifice your life for Candace Owens?
Yay! I don't know what to say. Say
it. I will sacrifice my life.
I would not sacrifice my life for anyone.
Sorry, can I just ask one thing? Because I know you guys want to finish this, so I don't want to take up too much time.
No, we can have a couple more
Manny,
minutes. Up until 20 latest.
Yeah, but this is a very, very short question. Manny, you keep claiming, and you've claimed
Why
several
are you
times.
making a beeline for me, trying to attack
No,
me?
because this was the question.
What's
This was the
going on?
question I want to ask. You you claimed a few times that Candace Owens is the biggest podcast in the world. I am checking on Google and several sites. She's not even in the ranked top 10 of the biggest podcasts in the world. I mean, Joe Rogan is consistently number one. And so where did you get that evidence? Where did you get that chart from?
Bear with me. I looked it up somewhere. She mentioned it, and I looked it up on. I would have to go through my history. A lot of the articles that I first initially came across were much older dated. So I can't remember where I got the latest.
No, Manny, to defend Manny, I found it. It's called ilovecandaceowen.com.
That's what it is, probably, because she doesn't even rate. Not even close in number 10. She's not even in the top 10. I don't know whether she even ranks. I can't even see her. I mean, I'm looking at the top 30 right now. But admittedly, this particular one is the podcast for Spotify podcast charts. But other charts as well I've looked at, I can't. She doesn't even rank in the top 20.
She's gone down. She's gone down on podcast charts by Spotify. She's down to 20.
20.
She's on 20.
But she was much higher. She was much higher on that. I don't know.
Yes, she's 20.
Maybe I think if it's a bit like, do you know, the UK music charts, where it's a live thing where how many things you sell on an ongoing basis and the latest last few hours, weeks, it might have something like that. But she was much higher on that. But my point about her and others, including Joe Rogan, because I think he's still in the top 3. There's formulas. Whether we like what Candace and Tucker and Joe Rogan and whoever, what they say and stuff like that. My point was, for that other conversation we had, that there's a formula that these guys follow, and this formula does create very good shows. Nothing to do with what's discussed and what's said. I'm just saying that the structure of the shows and how they're presented.
So do we think with Candace, the fact that she gets this unearned plaudit, she's one of the biggest podcasters ever. The reason she gets that is because she attaches to whoever's popular. So back in 2018, it was Meghan Markle. She worked with Meghan Markle, but they fell out. She got booted out. Then it was Jordan Peterson. She goes to Daily Wire. They got on, then they fell out. Then she got booted out. Now she's moved on to Charlie Kirk. Well, he ended up dead. And now she's speaking about Macron. It's like whoever's in the news, whoever's in your ears already, she wants to work with them. That's why people associate that fame with her when she never earned it. She's hanging on.
Yeah, no, I said, Manny, you can do your show based upon their theory, their kind of little formula, but it's going to be a shit show, isn't it? Because if you're basing it around the formula of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens,
I was going to do my show based on that formula. I was just using them.
You said you had a meeting. You had a meeting with all your employees, and you put a chart on the wall, and you said, "I'll replicate Tucker Carlson."
I had a meeting with some people on my Discord channel. In fact, DC was invited, but DC had some family around visiting him.
I was watching the Black Adam show.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that it's all gas unless you actually produce results. I mean, if you think you know the formula to produce a successful podcast, then start a podcast, use the formula, and within a 6-month period, you should be in the top at least
exactly. Proof is in the pudding
of podcasts in the world. Otherwise, the rest is just gas.
Exactly. Well said. All right, gentlemen, shall we leave it there? I think it's past my bedtime now.
I think we should have bedtime. Are you going to be listening to your beloved?
I think just to help you out, I'll do a 3-way call with Candace, and I get you involved, and let's see if you.
That sounds so exciting! I'd love to know what you two talk about. She probably says, "Cum trials. I've got cum trials coming all over me."
Don't end the show by taking it down the gutter again, right?
Oh, sorry. No, nothing about cum trials.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for each one of you for coming on, especially Raj, because it was really the Raj show. But thank
we'll
you
try.
to Andy and Banksy as well for coming on.
Anyway, man, take
Big up
care,
to
everybody,
yourselves,
man. Have a good
gentlemen.
day.
Have
Take
a
care,
wonderful
man. Take
night.
care.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next
See you,
time.
mate.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody that was in the chat, that made a comment in the chat, especially my regulars from Discord and also those people who are listening afterwards. I hope you enjoyed the show. More dynamic shows to come in the near future. If you have any ideas for shows and people to have on the panel, leave it in the comments below and I'll see if I can get them on. Thank you, and I'll see you very, very soon.